Ever wondered if true empowerment is possible in high stakes environments? What if I told you it's not just possible, but essential? Welcome to Level Up Leadership, the podcast that helps you elevate your leadership game. I'm Lee, and today we're diving into a topic that's close to my heart and crucial for every leader, especially those of us in public service. This week, I've written an article titled Empowering Decisions, Mastering the Art of Setting Guardrails in High Stakes Leadership. It builds on my first podcast called Act Like You Own It, where I talked about the importance of empowering everyone to make decisions. That was my first ever podcast. I'm grateful for the messages and feedback people sent me. Some of you rightly asked, is that truly realistic, particularly in sectors where decisions can have really serious consequences? It's a fantastic question and one that deserves a deeper look. My answer, in short, is an emphatic yes. This philosophy of empowering decision making at the appropriate level isn't just a nice to have, it's fundamental to effective leadership and operational efficiency, especially in public service. Think about it. The sheer volume, complexity, and often the immediate sensitivity of the issues we handle demand agility and responsiveness. We simply can't afford to bottleneck or paralysis by analysis when people's lives, their well-being, and their fundamental rights are directly impacted by our actions. Imagine a social worker needing to make a rapid assessment or a healthcare professional making a critical intervention. Delays can literally have devastating consequences. The real art of leadership in these environments lies in how we, as senior leaders, strategically set the thresholds for decision making. More importantly, it's about how we ensure robust and clearly understood guardrails are firmly in place for those decisions where the outcomes carry the most serious potential consequences. It's a delicate yet essential balance between empowering autonomy and mitigating unacceptable risk. Think back to the retail world I used as the example in the first podcast. In those environments, the immediate stakes, whilst significant for individuals involved, think careers, livelihoods, they rarely involve life or death, certainly in the short term. A wrong order or a poor customer service interaction typically won't have the same grave repercussions as a flawed medical diagnosis, for example. In retail and many private sectors, the threshold for autonomous decision making can be set quite low. In fact, people are sometimes encouraged to make mistakes when those mistakes won't lead to severe, irreversible consequences. The philosophy often is fail fast, learn faster. There's usually a tomorrow to recover and learn. Guardrails here are looser, with a focus on learning rather than blame. However, the landscape shifts dramatically in higher regulated organisations, like criminal justice, social care, or healthcare. Here, serious mistakes of the wrong magnitude could realistically result in loss of life, or significant injury, or profound societal consequences. While these extreme outcomes are thankfully rare, they represent the highest stakes. Unfortunately, the fear of these rare events can drive up the threshold for guardrails too high. As senior leaders in these increasingly high stakes environments, our paramount responsibility is to rigorously identify those critical areas, the specific types of decisions or actions that carry the highest potential for severe harm. Once identified, we must put robust, unambiguous, and non negotiable guardrails firmly in place for those decisions. But it's not enough just to have them on paper. We must ensure three fundamental pillars are robustly supported. Firstly, make expectations crystal clear and universally understood. These critical expectations need to be truly embedded in the everyday practice and culture. There should be no ambiguity about where the absolute lines are drawn. Secondly, provide robust training, support, and supervision. Everyone needs the tools, knowledge, and skills to meet these critical expectations consistently. This means ongoing professional development, expert advice, and consistent professional supervision. And thirdly, enforce boundaries without exception and with proportionality. There must be proportionate yet severe consequences for those who choose not to comply with these critical boundaries, especially where there's clear disregard for policy or reckless behaviour leading to harm. That isn't about a blame culture for genuine mistakes. It's about accountability, safeguarding the public, and maintaining integrity in the service. However, anything below that clearly defined high consequence threshold should not be treated with the same rigidity or lead to severe outcomes. As I said, in my view, those high stake decisions exist at the rarer end of the spectrum. The vast majority of decisions are well below that threshold. This is where the learning culture truly flourishes. If mistakes are made in these lower stakes decisions, perhaps misallocating resources or choosing a less efficient approach, people should be allowed to make those mistakes as part of making decisions at the appropriate level. The organisation's role is to minimise blame, provide constructive feedback, and facilitate learning. This is how we cultivate an environment where people feel confident to take initiative, learn from their missteps, and grow into more effective, resilient, and responsible professionals. It's about empowering people to truly own it, even when the stakes are high, by providing the clarity of support and a just culture that allows them to do so safely, effectively, and with confidence. This balance is truly what levels up leadership across all sectors. So, my question to you this week is, how are you striking that delicate balance between empowering autonomy and mitigating unacceptable risk in your own teams or organisations? I've explored this in more detail in my latest article, Empowering Decisions, Mastering the Art of Setting Guardrails in High-Stakes Leadership. You can find it on my LinkedIn profile. I encourage you to read it and share your thoughts in the comments. And let's continue this vital conversation. Thank you for listening. If this episode resonated with you or if it sparked new ideas, please consider sharing it with your network. You can also read the full article on my LinkedIn profile. These articles and podcasts are a new endeavour for me. If you're enjoying them, please do subscribe, follow, and share them so you never miss an episode in future. Until next time, keep leading, keep learning, and keep levelling up.